Well, the new year and the COVID surge have brought new challenges for all of us, and restaurants are being impacted in a way that we haven't really seen since back at the start of the pandemic. Places like Rick's on Main and East Aurora have had to shut down temporarily with the spike in cases, making an already tough staffing situation even worse. That's on top of the supply chain and inflation issues that were already making it difficult for this industry. Joining us live now to talk about all this is Melissa Fleischer, President and CEO of the State Restaurant Association and a friend of the show. We're glad to have you back on. I know that you actually talked to some restaurateurs here in Western New York earlier today. Can you give us an idea of what the situation is like here right now in terms of the impact that COVID is having, on staffing? I mean, so many people are sick, and obviously restaurant workers will be among them.
Yeah, for sure. As part of the general population, we are experiencing staffing issues with COVID. Just to be clear, I don't want anyone to think it's any worse at a restaurant than it is anywhere else, but we do have incredibly short-staffed restaurants and bars right now throughout the state. And when they do get hit with a COVID case, it causes problems for staffing those restaurants and those bars. So what we're seeing is restaurants are turning some of those hours back. So maybe they won't be open for lunch, or maybe they're shutting down a couple extra nights this week, just to try and manage it and make sure that they're keeping their staff as safe and healthy as they can, and obviously their customers as well.
Yeah, and so many restaurants keep us updated on social media pages, so you can check that, if you're trying to make your plans. Erie County Executive Mark Poloncarz said that when he announced the mask mandate, it's been a while now, that if things got worse, it could lead to a vaccination mandate for things like indoor dining. We've seen that in New York City for a while now, and we've already seen some restaurants just, on their own do that. Are you hearing that more are considering that, or what do you make of the possibility that we could see a vaccination mandate come to some restaurants?
When the mask mandate came out, we did hear talk of that being more considered a vaccine mandate. What was it going to be like? How could they implement it? What would they do in order to put that into place? But recently, no, I haven't heard that as much. I know that, the Omicron variant has hit New York City very hard as well. And, our restaurants there are impacted. And since then, I haven't, in the last week or two at least, heard any additional interest in implementing a vaccine mandate voluntarily by our restaurants.
Melissa, kind of separate from the COVID issue, a Styrofoam ban just took effect that, among other things, affects a lot of restaurants that use it for takeout containers. Takeout during the pandemic became so crucial for so many of us who can't cook, and restaurants weren't otherwise open. What is the impact that your industry is seeing as a result of that new law?
Well, by and large, we had a lot of our larger cities that were dealing with this already, and some of our counties, New York City, Albany, Long Island, had dealt with this a lot already. Western New York, not as much. And I think that the timing of it just turned out to be a really unfortunate. We're seeing these cases rise. We're seeing a greater demand for takeout right now and delivery, especially if you're quarantined. You might be ordering a little no contact delivery right now as well. To just have this take effect at this time when the supply chain issues have not been resolved, it just makes it harder to get alternative products, and definitely more expensive to get those alternative products.
Yeah, so many issues kind of coming together at the same time right now. It obviously is a good time to support your favorite restaurant, those locally owned businesses, because they definitely need it right now. And I should let everyone know, during the commercial break, Melissa and I were chatting, and you said that when things get better and we have good news to talk about, you're going to come on the show and we're going to do that, right? Because it seems like we talk all the time, and it's just been a tough couple of years. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. That'd be great.
All right, Melissa Fleischer is President and CEO of the State Restaurant Association. Thanks again for coming back on.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, and thank you everybody for joining us on the Town Hall. Our text line number is 716-849-2220 if you want to get in touch with us.